Are you ready for a challenge? Come on, let's go. Hey everybody, I'm Bill, the Hill Country Prepper, and I want you to be informed so that you can be prepared. Yeah, I know. Let's get right into this. I'm starting a challenge for YouTube creators. No, I don't want to know about your food storage. I don't want to know about your ammunition. I don't want to know where your bug out location is. I want to start a video editing challenge. Here's a background. I came across some footage that I had done back in 2015. As I was watching it, I realized how dull and boring it really was. It was really bad. I'll put a link to it up here if you want to see the original. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun to use the skills and tips that I've learned since then to do a re-edit and post it up again on YouTube. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
So here's the deal. I'm going to challenge two fellow YouTubers, some that I know create and upload video content, to do the same. It's kind of like a pyramid scheme, except everybody wins, not just the person at the top. So without dragging this out any further, Martin, Midlife, Misadventures, and Catskill, New York Prepper, here's the challenge. Find some old content and do a re-edit. I don't mean a reshoot, but take the original content and make it better. Better edits, better music, add some B-roll, do some color grading. Then, when you post your re-edited video, challenge two other YouTubers to do the same with these same instructions. I'll leave links below to both of these channels for anybody that's not familiar with them, so go check them out. Alright, Martin Midlife Misadventures, Catskill New York Prepper, if you accept this challenge, better start getting busy. And anybody else that wants to get in on this challenge, just leave me a comment down below and we'll be looking out for your re-edited content too. Okay, so that's enough of me jabbering on. You guys get out your pencil and paper and take some notes while you watch my re-edited video, The Essential Elements of Survival from 2015. Today I want to go over what I'm going to describe as the essential elements of survival. Again, I want to talk about the essential elements of survival. This applies to any situation, whether it be a man-made disaster, a natural disaster, zombie apocalypse, the end of the world as we know it, shit hit the fan in any manner. My ladies out here, talk a little bit about them. These are in no specific order, okay? So it's not like first one is most important, second is next important. These are all essentials that you need to survive. First among those is security. You have to have an element of security for your survival. This is for your personal protection, for your group protection. This could include weapons such as firearms, weapons such as baseball bats, whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you're proficient with using. There's also hand-to-hand. You need to learn self-defense. Some elements of. The degree to which you go with that, it's personal preference, but you need to be able to defend yourself in close quarters, okay? Another aspect here of security is to have a defendable position. You don't just want to be living in a cardboard box out in the middle of a wide open field. You want to have a defendable position, and I'll even say like an impregnable fortress, if you will. Back in the medieval days and such, they had, that's why they had castles. That's why they had these big fortresses that were defendable. They were impregnable. That's why. That's an essential aspect of their security. You also need to have a defensive perimeter, an area that, this is what you're defending. You need to be able to have line of sight within that defensible perimeter. Avoiding blind spots. Avoiding areas where an invader or an enemy combatant could take shelter, could seek cover. You don't want to have a blind spot behind you where essentially somebody could sneak up behind you. This kind of makes sense. And then I also believe that there is safety in numbers. And I think that's kind of self-explanatory. If it's just me, I can only, I've only got a certain field of vision. If there's two of us, then we can double that field of vision. If there's three, if there's four, you get my point, okay? So that's what I want to say about security. Sanitation. Sanitation is an important element of survival. You have to have a means of waste disposal, okay? And don't just say, well, I'll go poop in the woods. Well, you will, but after a while that's going to become a problem. You need to have cleaning materials. You need to be able to sanitize the area. Lots of different things we can talk about on that, whether it be through the use of chemical toilets or, want to do some more research, but it's important that sanitation be given a consideration, okay? Medical, obviously. You're going to want to have first aid kit. You're going to want to be able to practice preventative medicine, whether that be through taking your vitamins, something as simple as that, washing your hands, being able to isolate sick individuals. Medical is an essential. Then you also obviously need to have skills. And that's going to be one thing here. Should have mentioned earlier that all through these essential elements is that skills and knowledge are very important. Another essential element, and I didn't mean just to brush over medical, but there's so much to learn about that. But another essential element is shelter, okay? And this of course, there's a wide spectrum here when you talk about shelter. You could be talking about a handmade lean-to made out of brush and twigs, or you could be talking about a super underground bunker that's totally self-sufficient, okay? Runs a spectrum here, but shelter is an essential. And in your shelter, whether it be a tent or a lean-to, a cabin, an underground bunker, it has to be of good, sound construction, okay? I know a lot of times you say, well, duh, that's obvious. Well, just so you know, it has to be made of good, sturdy construction. Obviously, it needs to be waterproof. It sucks getting wet, especially when it's cold. Insulated. And it also needs to be ventilated. Don't overlook that. Insulated and ventilated. Another element, essential, is food. Now, you can stockpile freeze-dried MREs. You could do home canning. You can stockpile store-bought canned goods. These are all great. All great. But what happens when it runs out? What happens when your stockpile runs out? So you need to consider sustainable crops and sustainable livestock, and also foraging and hunting. There's nothing wrong with that as a viable food source. Depending upon where you live, there's probably lots of edible plants that educate yourself on. And again, skills, knowledge coming into play here. Hunting, trapping, snaring, it's all good. Learn what you can about it. Water. You cannot live without water, okay? If you're near a natural source, a lake or a river or a stream, that's awesome. If you have access to a well, that's great too. But you also need to consider rainwater collection, whether it be a rain barrel or what, a reuse pit, something, okay, that you can collect rainwater. On that, purification. You have to have a means of purifying your water if you're getting it out of a lake or a stream, or even a rain barrel for that matter. Boiling, obviously. You can have chemical purification or filters. There are a lot of commercial filters that you can purchase. There's a lot of homemade filters that can be made as well. So again, learn, acquire the knowledge. Heat source, Being warm is good. Being able to cook your food is good. Being able to boil your water is essential. So your heat sources, source of fire, wood, obviously, but then again, that needs to be something that, sustainable. Propane. Propane is good for camp stoves and for heating and such like that. But of course, it's limited. You can only stockpile so much, and then it's going to be gone. And also electricity, whether it be in the form of a generator, which obviously is going to be requiring fuel, whether it be propane or gasoline or diesel. There's also solar, and there's also wind generation that you can use to generate electricity that can be used to generate heat, etc., for cooking and for heating yourselves. Those are essentials. Now, I mentioned this a couple times throughout this video. Knowledge and skills. Gain those now while you can, whether it be through websites on the internet. YouTube has a lot of great information. There's some really good reference books. The information is out there. There are classes that you can take. Whether you get involved in your local community through the first aid or through some of the county extension classes that are offered. I know a lot of times the local junior colleges and community colleges will offer a wide variety of classes, sometimes for free, sometimes for a minimal per credit cost. Anyway, acquire the skills, acquire the knowledge, acquire the reference material, whether it be taking your own notes, compiling your own notebook, your own little survival encyclopedia, if you will. Get those and have them not just in an electronic form, but also in a book. You see, I've got a lot of books, because if there's a power outage, EMP, if you don't have your computer or your smartphone or your laptop or whatever it is, you're going to need a paper copy. Okay? Common sense. Use common sense in all of this. Use common sense. Bounce ideas off of others. I want to mention real quickly some other mentions, and I don't really view these as essentials. I believe, I think these are like, boy, this sure would be nice, okay? In a shit hit the fan scenario or a doomsday or something's going on. Communications. Cell phone towers might be overloaded, so you might have to rely upon two-way radio, ham radio, something like that. Important, essential, you decide. I'm just throwing it out there. Transportation. If you're bugging out, obviously, it's going to be important. But again, in this video, I'm just talking about the essential elements. Assuming that you've gotten to where you're going to survive, these are the essential elements. But transportation is another one of those considerations. A means of conveyance, whether it be a cart or a wagon, a wheelbarrow, truck, something. Transportation is good. Vehicles, horses, bicycles, motorcycles. You get my point. Another one, just a consideration here, is entertainment, diversion, if you will. In stressful situations, everybody needs a release. Again, I'm just talking about the essential elements. I think entertainment is a good mention. Okay, but is it essential to survive? At this point, no. Is it something to consider? It most certainly is. It most certainly is. Anyway, guys, these are just the essential elements of survival. Once you think about it, let me have your comments. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I do appreciate that. God bless. Just my thoughts. Thanks. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for those re-edited videos from Martin Midlife Misadventures and from Catskill, New York Prepper. In the meantime, watch this video next for some more information on how you can be informed so that you can be prepared. You guys have a blessed day.